Alright, so here's the nitty gritty part of it. There are some subdivisions or sections or however you want to call it that we use in the rank system. And this is very important because this is the reason why people always complain to admin and say my rank nah move or my rank nah change. But we have these bars in place to make sure that the rank is really a rank. Okay? So there's in all four main sections. The top part, let's say that the rank sections is first breaking down into two. Whereas we have people who play with a frequency greater than 2 or a frequency less than 2. So if you're on the upper part of this barrier, you're playing at least as much as the average player. So let's say that there's 1,000 people who play at least as much as the average player. Then these people will be in the group of ranks between 1 to 1,000. And if you play less than the average player, you will fall in the group of ranks that are 1,001 to 2,000. So that means you can never get a higher rank than 1,001 unless you pass this 2 frequency. And again, these figures here that you see in brackets are just examples. It may be 300 people who play at least as much as the average player, but it's just to give you an idea of the separations. So the first barrier in place is by frequency, and the reason why we have it this way is because if you get to number 1 and you feel say you are gonna stay at number 1 without playing any games, you make a sad mistake because you have to work for it to maintain. And on the opposite, if you just start an account and you drop couple 6s and you're having a few good games, you can't just jump to the top of the stats. You have to play as much as the average player, because that means you're going to be exposed to more 6s, more games, and you have to prove yourself. So we have this first section in place, first subdivision in place to ensure that people are playing and maintaining their frequency so that they earn a top rank. Whereas if you lay, you just get the bottom of the pile. So within these first 2 sections, whereas like I said, you play more than the average player, so you're up here, or if you play less than the average player, you're down here. But within these 2 sections, you have another barrier. This is to penalize people for running and quitting. Okay? And the barrier is if you have penalty rates that are less than 2%, which means both your quit rate and your run rate has to be less than 2%. Like I said, we're not kin teeth. Before it was 0%, but you know, sometimes people have some connectivity issues and things like that, so may give you a bly. Alright, but further broken down into less than 2% rates or greater than 2% rates, which would be down here. So let's say you play at least as much as the average player, but your quit rate is 3% and your run rate is 5%. You will be in the bottom half of this first group. So your rank can only range from 501 to 1,000, considering that there's 500 people that have less than 2% rates. Again, these numbers may vary. I'm just choosing round numbers for demonstrative purposes. So you have to make sure your frequency is maintained, and you have to make sure that your rates are kept down. The reason why we have these barriers is because we want to demote people from running and quitting, and we want to encourage people to play and not just pause. Okay, this is not a posing website, it's a Domino website. You have to play if you want to get a high rank. Again, so if you just start off and your rates are low, you're going to be in the bottom half because you didn't reach the frequency mark yet, but you can be in the top part of the bottom half, whereas your rank could possibly be the best rank in the bottom half. So before you ask admin what wrong with your rank, ask yourselves which one of these 4 groups you belong, because that's going to determine how low you can go. If you want to qualify for the best rank possible, play at least 2.0 frequency, at least as much as the average player, and get your run rates down below below 2% for your quit rate and for your run rate. Basically have a 0% run rate and a 0% quit rate, and you can have a rank ranging from number 1 to 500, for example. Again, this part of the rank is the most confusing part because you have to think of the rank in terms of groups. If you can't get past this part of the tutorial, then don't bother asking me no more question because you're out of luck and me can't help you. Just don't really worry about your rank. Just look at it as it's there for decoration. Alright? But if you grasp this, then we can move to the next screen, which determines how the rank is actually gotten to. Alright, where the next screen there?